Okay, so before competition, like I mentioned, just to make sure go right, play or watch games. The mirror neurons are activated. Testosterone increases, vasopressin increase, cortisol increase. So it can be, again, addictive like a drug, like cocaine. Excited and confident if their team wins. Cowboys. Higher testosterone than losing. And so that's, yes, watching sports, it feels like it's their playing. We also find that muscles in their body react to learning, watching sports. And so they learn, they feel, they think with their bodies much more. And when they're watching a game, it feels like it's them playing. So when the team loses, they feel like they lost. It's very personal, not just psychologically, but biologically. Because mirror neurons in the frontal part of the brain make you feel like it's you. So we actually see that their muscles in their body are activating as if they're playing the game, and makes them feel like it's them. Also, the teenage male brain is more likely to get in trouble in groups. So they are more likely to take risk and behaviors, and more brain excitement when they're in groups than the female brain. Euphoria. Amygdala develops first, like I mentioned, the impulsive gas pedal. The prefrontal cortex develops after. It's the brakes, and really matures by 25, mid-20s. So they do need parental control. I wanted to also mention that I tell my moms that have boys, I have 2 girls, but I tell them, get in all your hugs. Not that they're not going to hug you anymore. I know grown men that love and hug their moms, but evolution wired teenagers to be repulsed by this smell of mom, especially during adolescence when they're learning about impulse control, and their brain is very much into sexuality. And so evolution to prevent inbreeding. If mom gets too close, her smell. So when they're little, get all your hugs. And fortunately, it gets better as they're older. Okay. Then lastly, I've worked with parents, like I mentioned, a lot doing therapy and with teenagers. And I really love Dr. Shefali's books, The Awakened Parent, Conscious Parenting, 2 books. And it talks about every stage, and it's really, helping parents what is to do within themselves, like to do the work within themselves to be the best parent, not just about, because a lot of times I'd be working with teenagers and parents are like, just fix them. They're the problem. Well, yes, they can get help, but it's also us as the caregiver and parent that needs to work on ourselves. Sometimes they can be a mirror of us. So high school, according to Dr. Shefali, she says we get to see the effects of their upbringing. So teenage years is almost like what we have sown, like what we have watered, the plants, the seeds we start seeing, that's what grows. And it might have been you or what was going on in the world as a combination. So it's not just to take it personal as parents, because it's, many factors go into it, but everything that went into it, again, like all the ingredients, the cake, and it comes out, and then we see what's happening. So during this time, they seek to fill their unmet needs of authentic parental nurture. If you were too strict, they want to break free and rebel. So we've talked about parenting styles: authoritarian, authoritative, permissive, uninvolved. If you were too permissive, they go wild. If you were neglectful, they refuse to connect with you. It's never too late for healing, but unfortunately, whatever happened, it's coming out during this time, especially if it wasn't healed early in childhood, especially trauma. Endure the pain your teen inflicts on you, according to her, as it is a reflection of your failure over the years to connect. Again, it's not just you. It could have been teachers, coaches, but if it's, and you might be displaced upon the parent. So it might be anger towards something that happened with a friend or other things. But generally, it is a reflection of our parenting, what's coming out during teenage years. I haven't been there for you, so please teach me what I need to do to repair a relationship. Could be something that is said to them. Building trust and acceptance is really key during this time. So we are reaping the fruits of our investment. They manifest all we have taught them, morals, values. But again, we want them to not just be mini-me's of us, but that they have come, they're starting to explore their own thoughts and feelings, and we give them a safe space physically and psychologically to do that. So we tell them, this is what I believe, this is what I would want for you. I remember my daughter told me during this age, she was going to a great school, got a scholarship, one of the best schools in Hawaii where we're from. It was just amazing. And then she says, nope, I want to leave sophomore year. I want to leave this amazing, one of the best schools in the nation, all girls school at the time, and I want to go. And I understand if that's an issue, if wants to go. So I was open, but it was really hard. She's like, I want to go to a public school. In Hawaii, I worked at the public schools. They don't rate very high. There's a lot of issues. I worked at them, and so I knew what was ahead versus the school she was at, and I wanted her to get the best education. Other states, private, public, not as much of a difference. In Hawaii, unfortunately, it is. And so it was really hard after getting the scholarship, after really thriving her first year there. And as a parent, you can say no. Your job is to say no. You can't, because they don't know better. They'll regret it. And so I was balancing that. Like, you know, I have my prefrontal cortex formed. I know the decisions she's making. But at the same time, she's saying I wanted to go to a boys and girls school. You know, when I have that experience. So I'm listening to her and taking it into consideration. So I said, let's just, you go in, spend a day there. Let's talk to other kids that go there. Just hoping and praying that she would change her mind. And she did, thank goodness. I don't know what I would have done. I don't want to get to the point where it's like, no, you're not. Like, what do you do? And I know she told me later, that would have been hard. Because she has told me later, she's like, I'm so glad I graduated from that school. I love my school. It's been the best friends, best experience. But thank you for just even allowing me to explore the possibility, not just saying, nope, that's not even an option. No way, like authoritarian. Because I probably would have rebelled and done it. But because you gave me the space, which was really hard for me to do, that was my dream school for her. So it was my own issues too. I had dreamed of her going to that school and graduating. It's so good, and I loved it, and I knew the wonderful experience which she did. And she's like, now as a 24-year-old, she's like, I'm so glad I didn't switch schools. But thank you for allowing me to try. Because when she talked to friends and others, they said, no, don't leave your school. You're so lucky. They didn't like where they were at, which is actually the school I graduated from. And I loved it. I had a great time, but I know the difference. Anyway, so that was another thing. So again, we're wanting to, instill our values, but then letting them explore and trust them more. So yes, they have to earn the trust, but building that. Starting to talk about jobs, careers, trips, college, falling in love, breaking up, all the things. So think back of yours. For me, yes, I realized early on I love analyzing myself and others, helping others. I would have a journal, and I loved psychology class that I took. So for me, it was very clear what I wanted to do, and I have loved it ever since. I've been studying psychology for 30 years, and it's been amazing. I love teaching. I love doing therapy, and it has evolved over time. I'm a positive psychologist, positive and health psychologist, and now moving more towards transpersonal and spiritual and parapsychology. So just combining body, mind, and spirit. I love it. And so grateful to be able to teach, and then that outline and videos on YouTube has definitely evolved. Been teaching online for 20 years now. So, and then teaching university level for 25 years, which I love. And also a parent of a 19 and 24-year-old. But now more than ever, so thinking back of my adolescence, working with adolescents, or, my own kids going through, it's so much harder to see your kids going through breakups than it is even your own. Yeah, that's another one too. But for them, learning about relationships. So I actually, when they were teenagers, I did the PowerPoint with them, the male and female brain, for them to understand as much as they can, just kind of like a car, how the car works. And then you add on top of that psychology, culture, environment, experiences. But it's just the kind of the basics of the model that evolved over time. You might not have the average, so it's important to know and see differences. Time for grand speeches have come to a close, according to Shefali. If failing in school, unmotivated, means they are trying to tell you something is wrong. So provide acceptance and support instead of like the tough love discipline. According to her, you might disagree. Some religions, some views, some cultures see it differently. That's okay. This is her view and some of psychologists' view at all. If you try to control them, you will push them away and it affect the relationship. Does this mean we just let them take drugs and drop out of school? No, it does not. But the time they're going to seek our permission has passed. They're not little anymore. They will do what they want, which is directly related to how they were raised. We need to get over the illusion that we can control their life. It's now a partnership. They need respect, space, and privacy. Some parents definitely don't believe in that. It's like my house, my rules, you don't get space and privacy. I think on their phones, it's starting more and more trust and privacy, but parental control definitely on things like that. Unconditional faith, this is important to have, believe in them. Believe in them. I love something once Oprah said that, I think it was Maya Angelou, that when they walk into, I get teared up just thinking about it, but when they walk into a room, do your eyes light up when you see them? Or is it, you forgot to pick up your clothes, like, frustration. They can be very frustrating. But as parents, they need to see that we just love them unconditionally, that it's not just because they're getting good grades or because that we love them no matter what. That we love them no matter what. Doesn't mean we approve of their behavior. We don't approve of what they're doing, and we definitely have high expectations. The Amy Chua, Tiger Mom, talked about that, that she feels we have too low expectations for kids, cultural. She was raised Chinese parents. She's a lawyer, successful. And so there was a whole controversy over that. But the main thing is really, as I've done therapy for so long, I had my own kids, do they feel that you love them unconditionally? Because sometimes they might feel that your love is conditional. And so they don't understand when you're upset, when you see them, and it's like, you didn't do this, or hurry up. It's like, first, just take a moment. And I've had friends who unfortunately have lost their teenage son, and they would do anything to have their son walk through the door, even if their room is messy. Doesn't mean we allow whatever. No, we need to teach them to take care of their things and things, but it shouldn't be the most important thing, because as parents who have lost their teenage kids or any kids, they think back, I wish I would have just let them know more, hugged them more, told them how much I love them more, just been more excited to see them when they came home from school instead of we're busy and stressed, and maybe our own things too. So they can definitely trigger our own unhealed issues, from anger management to our own teenage issues or to our own life issues. And then wanting them to fulfill maybe our own dreams and desires. So trying to fulfill them through them in sports or academic or other things. So it's not just wanting the best for them, but maybe it's our own dreams. Like it was my dream to go to that school my daughter went to. And I know I was fulfilling some of those wishes through her. So when she wanted to leave, it was like, oh my God, the death of that dream for me. But I had to be open. Maybe it's not the best for her, even though it's the best school. Maybe it wasn't. Definitely, if she was rebelling against it, that would definitely cause issues. So, and then why is she wanting to switch? Not just no. So unconditional faith in their ability to handle life. So not trying to do everything for them, making them feel helpless. And then some type of faith, spirituality is very important to help them through life. They can come to us. They need to feel like we will listen and come to us. We're not too busy, or our reaction when they need to tell us something. Best chance of keeping them safe is to validate who they intrinsically are. Okay, so that covers adolescence. Let me know if you have any questions, and see you next week.